Welcome to Smart Parents, Successful Students, the podcast that helps parents like you guide your children toward academic confidence and success. I'm your host, Helen Panos, and I'm here to share expert tips, proven strategies, and inspiring stories that make the journey to school success a little smoother for both you and your student. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my Smart Parents, Successful Students podcast. I'm your host, Helen Panos, and I am back again today. And this time I am here with a doctor. Yes, I said a doctor. Yay! We've had a chiropractor on before. I think I've had a pediatrician on before. And this time it's a functional medicine doctor. Welcome to the show, Dr. Shaanta. How are you doing?
Hey, Helen. I'm good. Good. Thanks for having me.
Great. I'm glad you could join me. I know we had to kind of squeeze you into our busy schedule here. And it hit me that you needed to be on.
No problem. I'm happy to be here and happy to talk about, how we can help.
So I'm going to just do a quick description of Dr. Hanagud, and she can then tell us about her journey. So Dr. Hanagud has experience practicing at Maui Medical Group, yes, in Hawaii, and Kaiser Permanente in both Maui and Atlanta for over 25 years. Driven by a vision to delve deeper into the root causes of illness and embrace integrative healing modalities, Dr. Hanagud is now establishing her own practice. This endeavor will allow her to dedicate more time to each patient and guide them in their personal wellness journeys. Her holistic approach to care ensures that the individual is treated in their entirety. Outside of her professional life, Dr. Hanagud enjoys practicing yoga, culinary arts, scuba diving, must have gotten that from Hawaii, not in Atlanta, live music, and exploring the outdoors. Yay, that's fun. Thank you again for coming on and sharing what you know, because it's different going from, the real medical field, let's say, and the holistic medical field. It's nice having a doctor that knows both. I'm like, I wish they were all this way. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey to where you got today. I know I said you were in Maui, so I gave a little bit away.
Right. Well, I'm actually from Atlanta, and my journey actually took me from Atlanta. I went to Stanford for undergraduate. I went to University of Cincinnati for medical school. And then I went out to Tacoma, Washington for my family medicine residency program. And then after that, I loved Tacoma, but it was really rainy. So I was looking at California, and I ended up actually going to Maui, mostly because I was sun deprived, but who wouldn't want to be in beautiful Maui? And
I loved it there.
Yeah. So I got to take care of, the wonderful people of Maui, and learned a ton. And then, since I'm back in Atlanta for the last, I think 18 years now, was here for my family here. And really it was nice to come back home and be able to take care of the people in Decatur through Kaiser. And now on my own. I've always been interested in integrative holistic medicine. I did rotations when I was in my residency program that I actually made up on my own, because it was my own love that I really want to be able to look at and learn about all the complementary and alternative ways that people can be healed, to blend it with allopathic, because there's benefits to both. To all those different modalities.
Yes,
so
sure is.
Yeah. So I got board certified in integrative holistic medicine, which was the first rendition way back when I first got out. And then, there's been other renditions of, trying to incorporate that for medical doctors into the allopathic world. And then the most recent is functional medicine, which isn't a board certification, but you can take classes through the Institute for Functional Medicine and become, educated in that approach. And that approach is really nice because it encompasses really the whole person from even fetal growth, what your parents, their health challenges, all the way through to, where the person's at. And, especially for pediatric population, there's a lot, especially in the world these days with toxic environmental chemicals and immune challenges that we haven't been faced with before. The diet, nutrition is not what it used to be back in the day.
Nope.
So, our little people are definitely challenged. And, I think that really translates into what you're doing to help kids, to help them navigate education challenges. So, yeah.
Yeah, it has become not only education, but the medical is definitely intervening in their success in academics. It's quite interesting because I was a 504 chair for about 3 years, and then I would look up some of these things I've never heard of before. I'm like, what is that? Medical diagnosis. I felt like I was becoming a doctor. And I'm like,
you had to know a lot to do that. Yeah.
I would get the forms from the doctors so I could run the meeting for the 504 plans, but I'm like, what in the world? I need to look up what this is so I know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
So I didn't know I was becoming a doctor on the side.
Yeah, you definitely had to know all that to make sure those kids got the best, plans that they could.
Because you really do have to understand how's this medical diagnosis interacting with their success in the classroom. And a lot of times it does. So let's start off by you tell us about your family practice in Chamblee, Georgia, which is just barely inside the perimeter of 285, those of you listening from Atlanta, and the children that you see.
Yes. So since I'm family medicine trained, I get to see little kids as well as adults. And, here in the new practice, it's really a blend of things that are challenges that usually a lot of people, they've already gone the allopathic route and they're really just not getting the help that they need. And so some of that might be attention issues that may or may not fit the diagnosis of ADHD. So, I can do ADHD evaluations and, some of the parents, they don't want to do medication. They want to do some executive, coaching, some executive function coaching, or really delve on the nutrition side, and see are there other ways to support their growing nervous system with nutrition. So, giving strategies and recommendations both at home and in the classroom so that they can have, success with their neurological challenges, basically. And then, we do school physicals and things like that, people need as well to make sure they're healthy for school. And, a lot of times there's just well stuff with more of a nutrition bent, anything from newborns to, and I love treating the whole family too. It's nice to have the mom and the dad as well, or, whatever the way that the family dynamics is, like have everybody come in. And so that, you really get to know the whole environment
Right.
and get to really make a difference in the family.
All about genetics.
Genetics and epigenetics are a really, really big thing. We're looking at generational stuff that can really make a difference in how the children are able to deal with toxins and deal with things in the environment. And it can really affect them neurologically, so yeah, it's really important, and for parents to be aware of that.
It's interesting because, I'm pretty sure our foods have changed because I was not gluten-free until a few years ago. So I'm like, when did that happen?
A lot of it has to do with, the industry, how the wheat is actually manufactured here in the States. Like I can go to Europe and I can eat wheat, but here, and it does make it difficult because it's sometimes, not as easy to be able to navigate that without a lot of guidance from someone who knows all those things. And we do a lot here with design clinical nutrition. So we can actually help someone navigate how their own genetics, some people are poor detoxifiers, and we can just support their body in detoxification, or like figure out where there's nutritional deficits, and really give a clinical designed unique program for the child or adult.
Yeah, that's great. I know a friend of mine just went to Portugal and she has IBS, and she said none of the food there bothered her. And I said, same thing for me when I went to Greece. I mean, they followed along kind of what I'd tell them on the cruise ship, but I'm like, I didn't have any problems when I was there. It was when I came back to the United States that was the problem.
Yeah. And you get back and you're like, oh, I can eat everything. Nope.
Right. Your system will tell you.
Yeah.
So what makes your practice different than, in a little more detail, than any other like family practice, so our audience can understand?
Yeah. So, I really feel like we are able to, in the model that we've chosen, to be able to take a lot of time to really delve deep to the root causes of what is going on, and really dive deep to really help in a way that is not going to be harming the person, because everything's fully natural. And because I'm a medical doctor, I can also navigate around the medications. So, if people do choose and want to be on medications, I can help navigate either continuing medications or, transitioning off medications if that's their wish. And I also feel like we are able to support in the wellness part by, we have a health coach, Linda Kelly. She is my business partner. So we can really dive deep in supporting all those aspects. Like sometimes people don't even know what to do at the grocery store, or, simple recipes that are, in our busy lives, how can we incorporate good nutrition in our daily lives? So, not a lot of practices have that all in one space. So I really feel like we're set up in a way to really help people succeed and thrive, as long as they're able to take our recommendations to heart and make changes.
Cool. And I know you mentioned you do physicals.
Yes.
And ADHD assessments, I understand. Tell us more about that and what parents can look at for you doing something like that for them.
Yeah, so I like using the Vanderbilt scale. So for ADHD, ADHD, it gets a lot of buzz because, children are not able to concentrate or focus or sit still in a traditional environment. And thankfully there are some, other school environments that can be a little bit more adaptive, but also in the public school environment, there can be accommodations for kids to be able to, have more time for testing, or have a separate space, or be able to use headphones or whatever they need so that they aren't super distracted. But you get assessments through the parent and through the teacher. And then I do my own assessment to see if the kid actually makes, the criteria for the diagnosis for ADHD. And that helps, as you know, from those 504s, so that kids can get accommodations. So that's partly what I can do to help. And then also really the nutrition part is huge. So once we do find some assessments, we also do a full nutrition evaluation. We do something called nutrition response testing that's extremely thorough and accurate to help design a clinical nutrition program for the kid, if that's what the parent wants to do. And then, school physicals, I love those because they just really give me an opportunity to learn everything about the kid and, how they're enjoying school, what their, likes and dislikes, how to really help them succeed in their journey through education. And then, socialization and family. And so, we look at all aspects of a child's development and, just encourage and nourish, the way we can to make sure they're going to succeed.
That's cool. That's great. Yep. I can say I was just looking at somebody's 504 plan and looking at accommodations for an SAT where we're going to tutor them. So yes, I do know here at Dynamis Learning how to read those. and how to apply them, and so do our tutors. So just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. And I think, your executive functioning coaching, I mean, that sounds amazing too. Like that's really helpful for, all that kind of specialty skill stuff that, even if you do have some, neurological stuff that does create some challenges, like how are there tools and tasks that can really be applied to, help people help us succeed.
Yep, because ADHD is not going away. Once you're diagnosed with it, your child will have it for life. So they might as well learn how to do, like she said, there's a toolbox. Lots of things. And we look at personality, which is even more important because I feel like there's certain tools and strategies that go with certain kids. Everything fits every child, like a timer, for instance. A timer, some kids don't like that. It gives them anxiety.
Right. Yeah. And just having all those different tools, like those focus tools, like a squishy or like a spinner, or like one kid I know is like the teachers let them have like kind of bouncy yoga balls, so I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Just like trying to be, I think because it's becoming so pervasive. And what's super interesting, Helen, is that this has to do with the generational decline in our nutrition. It's a lot of that where there was a Dr. Pottinger, who did a study in cats that found that, generational nutritional deficiencies can cause neurological dysfunctions in the progeny. And so, I really think it's a, problem with our whole nutritional system, to make sure that people, both parents and children, are fed, organic, very nutritious, nutritionally dense foods to really nourish. I mean, we really are what we eat. And if we are eating really well, then our brain works really well. And within a generation, if you can incorporate and change the diet, you can really see amazing changes in the way the brain functions too.
I'd like to bring up stress. Do you want to say anything about stress adding to all that? Because I mean, over time, speaking of generational, I think people are experiencing more stress now, and that just adds to, I think, the flare-ups that they may be seeing.
Yeah, well, I think with social media and the news, I mean, it's just such a sensationalized business, where it can really make people feel super stressed, like they're being chased by the tiger. And who can think about a math problem when they're being run down by a tiger? You just you can't, and so learning about tools to reduce anxiety, both nutritionally and, avoiding, a lot of stimulants like sugar or caffeine, things that will make the brain even more dysfunctional. And breathing techniques, teaching, I mean, kids can do like deep breathing techniques or, tapping or something to kind of like help them get refocused in an environment that can be very stressful. I mean, school can be very stressful. There's demands from teachers, from parents, from, society. And, we want them to be able to think and breathe and, do their best.
I like seeing too, I mean, as of this recording, I've had a couple parents say, we need a tutor now because my child's already realizing he can't do this Spanish 2, or he can't do this algebra honors. And I'm like, well, at least the kids are being much more aware instead of waiting and then hiding it maybe from their parents and not letting them know. And then it gets all stressful and anxiety builds in, and then they have to go see a doctor for something else.
Getting the tools and getting, set up from day one. Yeah, because these kids, they have a lot of pressure, and also trying to find the right environment and the right help is really, I think, is really important too.
Oh yeah, I agree. So let everybody know how they can reach you. I know you guys are on Instagram, I think, and Facebook.
Yeah. My business manager is awesome, Linda. She has us on Instagram and Facebook, and then we have our
LinkedIn
website
and YouTube.
Yeah, we have we have Wednesday, these wellness Wednesday lecture series that's every other Wednesday, a couple times a month, and you can find that on our website, which is GaiaFamilyMedicine.com. And
just like the shirt. Show them your shirt.
Yeah, so the Wednesday Wellness Lecture Series is free to the public, so we have different topics that if people are interested, I do a lecture and then, show them the clinic and show them what we do. And I also do functional medicine testing, so people, if they need to do like further nutrition evaluations or gut health evaluations, toxin evaluations, there's a wealth of things that we can dive into functionally too, as well, if people have, those concerns.
That's awesome. Yes. And I can attest to their Wellness Wednesdays webinars or in person right now. And they're terrific. I've learned a lot actually from listening to you, just the one about the gut, actually.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
That is super foundational. Yeah, no, I'm glad you got to get some little nuggets there.
There's no other doctors explaining it to that degree.
Yeah, well, I figure, if people have the information and they can really empower themselves on their own health, that's really how we're going to make a difference, both us with the patients and the patients within their own lives.
Mm-hmm. And so you can go to, again, that website is Gaia, GAIA, familymedicine.com/contact. You can contact them through there, or you can find these Wednesday webinars. They have a great selection coming out here for the fall that you guys might want to attend. And hey, just hit them up for, I guess, a complimentary visit, right? Or they can at least call you and talk to you.
Yeah, they can give us, there's inquiries online, and then Linda can definitely help you keep people back and, answer any questions.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on our show and sharing all your terrific,
I really appreciate it.
Knowledge. It's rare that you get a doctor that knows medicine and this other side of the holistic world. It's terrific.
Yeah. This is just how I practice, and I love to practice. And it is kind of interesting to know that it's rare, but I'm really grateful that I get to be able to share this with everybody. So.
Even better that you're not too far from where I live.
I know, it's perfect. Yeah, especially for this area, and we're so close to the rest of Atlanta, so we're pretty accessible to most people who are in the greater Atlanta area.
And I don't know about you guys, but me, I'll go anywhere for a doctor or anybody that I know can help me. I'll drive up to 45 minutes away out of town. I've done out of town, out of the city before.
Yeah, when I was with Kaiser, people would come from a lot of different places, and now that I'm on my own, a lot of my Kaiser patients have followed me, and then I also get to see anybody else who needs to get some support.
Awesome. Well, folks, you will see that website and the way to contact her. It will be in the show notes. And those of you watching the video, same thing. So look for it. It will be coming out soon. Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Shaanta, for joining us. And everybody, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to Smart Parents Successful Students podcast. If you found today's episode insightful, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our YouTube channel for even more tips to help your student thrive. Until next time, keep guiding your children towards success.